Does body count matter? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your hashtag not sponsored $2 coffee and I want to talk about this article I saw on news.com.au. Jana Hawkings on how many sexual partners is too many, and she talks all about just her boyfriends and relationships and anything. We're not going to go through it. But she said it doesn't matter how many you have. And I thought that's kind of, bullshit, honestly. It's different to everything that I've heard. All the episodes of Stefan Molyneux and call-in shows where he's citing many studies where the number of sexual partners you have, the higher it is for people to bond, particularly for women. So I found it quite unusual that she's going, you can have as many as you want. And I thought I'll put this to the viewers to ask, because this is the advice she's given other women. So other women are seeing this and they'll go, oh yeah, fine. Because here's the thing. There's a bit of a difference in the accessibility to sexual partners for men and women. For women, it's much easier than for men, particularly if you're not a superstar. Okay, that's just the reality of things. I was explaining this to a neighbor. I'm going, it's a lot easier for women to get laid. I mean, come on, you're kidding yourself. So let's have a look to see what you've said on this topic, because I think it's quite interesting. So 19 hours ago, does body count matter in choosing a long-term or marriage partner? And 78% of you said yes, of the 745 that voted, and 22% said no. So the majority of you said yes, it does matter. And let's have a look at some of the comments that people have said here. Obviously not to Miss Heise. Yeah, of course, that's it. Yep. Purity, I like boobs. Nothing wrong with that. Probably not in black and white answer and heavily dependent on culture and environment. Jessica, I'm not voting either way. Needs a third option. Thou shalt not judge. Well, yeah, I replied, adults judge. It's utterly ludicrous if you don't think people don't judge each other all the time. Every time you go out and when you're dating, people judge you on how you dress in business. Yeah, I mean, come on. Don't be stupid. Women are judged on their past. Men are judged on their future, according to Cole. This makes sense. T-tail, of course, not because the number itself matters, but because a high body count often indicates a woman who is insecure and needs the validation of having men desire her sexually. Also, high numbers of sexual partners indicates that they are more impulsive and rash, making decisions based on what feels good in the moment and considering whether it's good, and not considering or with consideration if it's good in the long time. So good comment here, T-Towel. A good-looking woman has many options to have sex. She could very easily pick someone decent or several and have ongoing casual sex with them, having great sex regularly, and that body count would stay at a respectable level. A woman who counts up to 50 and beyond are showing that it is not about sex. It's about the allure of novelty and the validation of a new man fawning over them. I mean, over 50 is just, that's some of the numbers you hear, particularly when people do the shorts and ask randoms on the street. That addiction is not going to magically disappear when they decide to settle down. This holds true for men also, but I think there is less correlation because men are more often just seeking sexual gratification, not validation, and there is less negative social and physical consequences for men. Having said that, it's harder for men to get a high body count, so if they are pushing 50, they probably have similar issues and are not going to make great husbands. Yeah, I'd say that too. I mean, if you get into that, if you're just having sex that often with so many random chicks, 50, that's a lot. That'd be exhausting too. I'm getting old. Someone who has had fewer than 5 sexual partners in their 30s will also makes me consider why. Like this would indicate that they have more conservative views about sex, incompatible with my own, perhaps have some trauma that I would not reveal in unpacking, yada, yada, yada. Long-term partner will still hang on. I myself has a reasonably high body count for a man, and I had to evaluate my motivations over the last few years. I haven't been seeking out sex with new women all the time, and I'm happier for it. Okay, I'll give that a heart. That's a very good comment there. Thank you, T-Towel, for adding that. I think that's very insightful. Because do you want... I've got 4 daughters. I've got 4 daughters. I have to teach them and educate them about this. You don't want girls running off and just sleeping with every bloody bloke. You don't want them going with a bloke that just uses girls and casts them aside as well. You're hoping that your children will have a stable long-term relationship and can settle down and build a life together. Just going from one person to the next to the other, that's not going to be that fulfilling over the long term. And you get old. You get old and tired and you don't want to deal with the bullshit anymore. Absolutely, determinately detrimentally impacts pair bonding, increases risks to sexual health, and will most likely leave when the going gets tough. Yeah, it does. It shows possible insecurities. Greatest regret of my life. Incredibly has something, seems a success. Ashram Younger becomes a source of shame and regret. Body count JK doesn't know what we're talking about. A high body count drastically reduces the ability to pair bond in the future. I mean, I thought that was common sense. I thought that was common sense. Maybe that's just the internet that I've been consuming over the last few years. So definitely some interesting insights here. Tate put it perfectly. I've got to see what he has to say. I mean, he says confronting things for the shock value, but it's not wrong what he's saying. You know, a lot of it's just common sense. And I think we have to pretend these days that it isn't common sense just to make people feel better. You know? So guys, there we have it. The majority of you in this survey agree that it does matter. And the viewership of the channel is 90% men. And we have an author here telling women it doesn't matter. So, I mean, they can just lie. They can just lie to blokes. But it's going to matter. What do you reckon, guys? And what would you... well, let's have a talk. What do you reckon, guys? And as fathers, what would you teach your daughters? What advice would you give them? Because the last thing you want is, particularly for women, you know, if they're just going out with guys, partying, everything, and then suddenly they're 35 years old, biological clock is ticking, and they, you know, run out of time to have children. And that's, I mean, we do have time limits on these things. You've got to take that into account when you're planning your life. It's a big part. Because when you get old, what are you going to do? No one's going to give a shit about your career. Anyway, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, this is terrible advice she's giving. It really is. It's terrible advice. I don't agree with it either, honestly. I think you should treat yourself with a little bit more respect. Anyway, guys, what do you reckon? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Check out HeiseBim, HeiseSays International. And if you want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. See, we don't just talk about the economy, news, and construction sector. We talk about other things too. Hey, it's important. This is what the narrative is going out to people. And kids will read this stuff and believe it. It's all